Here we have the Enigma 2 encryption machine. Very nicely done, laser engraved details, nice heavy board. It comes with very thorough instructions. If it's a slow day at the kiosk, feel free to pull this out for the demo and take a look through it. The video here I'm going to show you will explain the basics, but the instructions do have several messages to try to decipher along with the solutions. Okay, how does this work? Well, we've got 3 removable gears. You'll notice the center on each one has a number. This is the 50 gear, the 60 gear, and the 70 gear. They can go on these pins in any order you like. First, we need to create a key code, a way that we are going to have our messages based on a certain key, if you will. So let's use OSP 756 for this demonstration. So the 756 tells me the order of the gears. I'm going to put the 7 gear on first, then the 5 gear, then the 6 gear. And they need to be positioned OSP as they line up with these arrows. So I find the O here on my 7 gear, put it on there, and make sure the O lines up with that first arrow. Now I'm going to find the S on the 5 gear, make sure it lines up with the arrow above here. So notice the O still points to the arrow, the S points to this arrow. Finally, OSP, I'm looking for the letter P here on this final gear. I need to get it on the, okay, I'm off one there. All right, OSP, all these letters being indicated by the respective arrows. The gear order is 756. That's my key code. If I'm going to encrypt a message and send it to someone, the only way they'll be able to decrypt it is to know this key code so they can set up their machine the same way. Let's say I want to send a very simple message just for illustration purposes of this video. The message is going to be hello. My first letter is H. I always start on the far right wheel if I'm wanting to encrypt a message. So I find the letter H. Once it's pointing, the arrow is pointing to the H, I go to my first wheel. Notice it is pointing to the letter Y. So I'm encrypting the H as a Y. Now I go back to this wheel for my next letter, E. Once the E is being indicated by the arrow, I go to my second gear, which is now pointing to F. All right. Now on the third letter, I'll go back to the first gear. I'm going to alternate the odd number on this gear, the even number here, back and forth, back and forth. So on the third letter, I'm back to the first gear. L needs to be indicated over here on the far right. Once I have L, it's pointing to T on this gear. Now notice, here's the beauty of the encryption. We have 2 letters in a row in English in the initial message, L and L. But whenever I get to my 4th letter, which is still an L, I'm pulling it off this second gear, which is X. So just looking at these without understanding the encryption, TX, you might assume that that's indicating 2 different letters, but in fact, it is encoding the same letter. That's the beauty of the encryption. Finally, the letter O on my gear here on the far right. It's the 5th letter. It's an odd number, so I get it off the first gear. We are back to Q. So if I send this message, YFTXQ, to someone who knows this key code, OSP 756, they should be able to decipher it. So let's just pretend that my buddy sent me this and I am trying to decipher it, and I just know that we always use this key code. So I get my gears set up OSP 765, as I haven't taken the gears off, so they're still in that position. So to decipher, you start on the left and you get the output on the right. So the letter Y here on the first gear, we've got the output letter H as expected. The second letter, F, on the second gear, outputs an E. Third letter back to the first one, it's L, or excuse me, it's T is what I'm looking for here, pardon me. All right, T puts out L, and then X on this gear also puts out L for the 4th letter. And finally Q back to the first one, outputs O. hello. That's a very rudimentary example, but this is a beautiful piece. Does have a little bit of a historical inspiration, you might say. It's truly encrypting on a simple level, really, but it is encryption. The beautiful thing about these, sometimes you can sell two at a time. Sell one to a parent or grandparent, maybe one to a child or grandchild, and they can in fact send sophisticated encrypted messages. That is Enigma 2 encryption machine.